The key to your better future is you. Rhon.
And nobody can hear you go. Ooh.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Kunda. I'm your host for the Lite-harrts channel, and welcome to this week's show, the show where we push for personal progress and prosperity. I am so excited. I have some news for you. Last week I talked about an investment summit. So if you're a woman, I would like to let you know that we are open applications for the summit. So if you have an idea or a business that has potential to grow and you would like to have an opportunity to pitch to investors and just get some financing and some funding, please reach out. As you can see in the flyer, you can ask for an application form from us. You can send us an email at info@driveafrica.com, and we'll be able to send you an application form which you'll be able to fill in, and then we'll consider you to participate in the summit. And I must point out that we have limited spaces, so unfortunately, as much as we'd want everyone to participate, we can only accommodate a few participants. And I'm so excited. So I hope you're excited, and I hope you do reach out. So today I want to talk about personal development. And I think this is another important conversation for us to have, like I do other conversations that I have with you. Like I said in the opening statement, the key to a better future, the future that you want, the dreams that you desire, is you. And I know a lot of times we tend to think it's the external factors that affect where we are. And I know this is a hard pill to swallow when you're going through something that is horrible and terrible. And then to think that you are the key to your better future, or you're where you are because of yourself, sometimes that is not a nice feeling to have. So I will start by defining personal development. So personal development consists of activities that develop a person's capabilities and potential. I had to read that because every time I try to make this video without reading that, I just mixed up the words. So the key to a better personal development is about the activities that help improve a person's capabilities and potential. So if you want to get to where you want to get to, it's very important. I think the first thing that you have to do when you decide that you want to get to somewhere, when you set a destination where you want to get to, is number one, have a personal development plan. And that is very important for you to do. So I know not everything that happens, I know that where we are isn't entirely up to us. There are things sometimes that are out of our control that influence where we are, that get us to the places where we end up, that influence whether how successful we are, how happy we are, how peaceful we are, how spiritual we are. No matter what goal that you have, there are always these external factors that influence where you want to get to and how you get to where you want to get to. In fact, if you even get to where you want to get to. So I always like to think of it like this. So as much as I say that the key to a better future is you, I know some people will be thinking, well, it's not entirely me. And they may be thinking, there are other things that have affected why I am where I am. So I want to put this into perspective. Having a destination, I think of us all our lives as ships. We're like sailors sailing to a destination, and all of us have our own journeys. All of us have our own challenges to get to where we want. And in this life, some of us may experience financial waves that might make it difficult for us to achieve or get to our destination. Some of us might have health issues that may affect getting to where we want to get to. Some of us might even have lack of support. Like, we all have different challenges that affect us getting to where we want to get to. But the question is, how do you navigate those things, those challenges, to get to the destination where you want to get to? How do you ensure that regardless of what challenges you experience on your journey to your destination, you will get to your destination? That's where the idea or the thought that the key to a better future is yourself comes in. Because regardless of how hard things are, regardless of how bad the economy is, regardless of how bad the political scenery is, regardless of how bad the education system is, regardless of how unsupportive our families may be, regardless of all these many factors that affect people in terms of them getting to their destination, there will always be certain people who will still achieve their goals. There will be people who will be prospering, people who will be finding happiness, joy, who will be growing spiritually, regardless of what their goal is. They will be getting to their destination. So what you have to put in your mind, and the kind of mindset that you need to have, is that regardless of what's happening, you'll be among those people who are thriving. Regardless of the environment or the situations, that the external factors that are sometimes out of your control, you have to ensure that successful people ensure that they learn how to navigate those challenges and get to where they want to get to. And you can only do that when you adopt the mindset that you are the key to the better future that you want. I remember recently, and this is very hard to do. This is a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're not doing well. It's easy to think that you're the key to the better future that you want when you are thriving and when you're succeeding. And we always hear people say things like, oh, I'm self-made, I'm here because I worked hard, because I did A, B, C, D, because I put in the work. When people are succeeding and they're thriving, they take credit for where they are. It's easier to do that. But when you're failing in life, or when you're lacking behind in life, it's very hard to sit down and look at yourself and say, I am the problem here. I am not doing all that I need to do to ensure that I'm excelling and I am thriving. And that becomes a huge challenge. And I remember last year, the past few years, I haven't been comfortable with the way I went through some challenges. And I wasn't comfortable with, number one, what I wasn't comfortable with is how my finances started to look like. And they didn't reflect what I thought I was or what I wanted to be. And I remember getting to a point where I was thinking, because I used to think, especially in my early 20s, my mid-20s, I always consider myself financially literate. I always consider myself to have an abundant mindset. And I always tried to work hard to develop that mindset. And I got to this place where things didn't look the way I wanted them to look. I didn't even like where I was at that moment. And I had to sit down and have an audit. I had to audit myself. And one of the things that I learned, which was a slap in the face and a shock, was that I actually had a poverty mindset. And I don't think that mindset has entirely gone away, so I am still doing the work to fix that. And I also discovered that I had a limiting mindset in terms of money in certain areas that I had to work on. And one of the things that I did to even get to that place where I had that awareness was I took some online tests, financial literacy online tests. I took abundance mindset online tests. I took a lot of tests online, and then I learned that actually I had a limiting mindset with money and had a scarcity mindset with money, which was not an easy thing to swallow. But what led me to that point is I started to think like, okay, it's easy for me to say the PF government isn't working, this is why I'm here, but hey Kuna, there are other young people like you who are thriving. And then it's easy for me to blame all these external factors and other people in my life for what I feel like I'm experiencing, but it won't help anyone. It won't change anything. All that does is it puts my success and my prosperity in the hands of other people, and I cannot have my success and my prosperity in the hands of other people. I have to take control of it. So to take control of it, I had to sit down and ask myself and question myself, what am I not doing? Where am I not looking? Where am I lacking? What do I need to improve? And I just discovered a lot of things that I had to work on myself. And that's where the idea that the key to a better future is yourself. Take an audit. It might be painful, you might not even like what you find, but it's very important that you take an audit of yourself, understand why you are where you are. And usually you will find that the major reason you are where you are is yourself, as I did for myself. And then after knowing that, I had to find a way of developing myself, developing my capabilities, and increasing my potential. So to do that, I had to have a personal development plan. And one of the things that are part of my personal development plan is my spirituality. While I was on that journey, one of the things I started to do is, because I've always kind of read the Bible and I always make it a point to read the Bible daily, but I now decided to read the Bible the first thing that I do when I wake up. And that makes me feel like it gives me a peace of mind, and I can't explain it, but it's something that just makes me a better person. And then I heard a video, I was watching a motivational video by Miles Monroe, and he said that if you have $1 billion in the bank and you're not rich towards God, you're poor. And that just made so much sense to me. So I put as part of my personal development plan is to ensure that I am rich towards God. And I'm now on a journey where I'm actively, consciously working on improving my relationship with God and also just improving my life in that way. Another thing that's part of my personal development plan is to ensure that I do motivational videos. Let me tell you something. I know some people say, oh, motivational videos, and they make fun of motivational speakers and stuff like that. But they have a role they play in our lives. And this video is already running long, so I have to just hurry up. But another thing that I learned is I listen to motivational videos every day so there are days when I wake up and I'm in a bad mood, or I don't feel like working, or I don't feel like doing stuff, and I need to push myself. And what fuels me sometimes is listening to motivational talks. And then another thing that I do is I read books. I used to read a lot of books in my 20s. Then I kind of started to slow down, but now I've picked up that habit. And I feel like that is helping me become a better person, understand myself more, challenge myself more, and improve myself more. So you have to ensure that you have a plan. You have to work on yourself. And I remember Jim Rhon once saying you need to work on yourself more than you work on your job. So you have to ensure that you're working really, really hard on yourself, and you have to ensure that you're improving yourself. And so you need to have a personal development plan, because in the end, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of who's left you, who's failing you, the economy, or whatever is happening, when you're not doing well in life, no one thinks of all these other factors that are affecting you. People just look at you. And you have to make sure that at the end of your race, you say, I did all I could do in my power, and it wasn't up to me, because I understand that sometimes it's out of our control, so you have to make sure that you do your very best, and that happens when you start to develop yourself. And personal development is a long life journey. It's not a 1 day, 2 day, 3 weeks kind of activity. It's a long life journey, because the higher you want to play, the more skills you need to learn, the more you need to grow. But if you are here, you cannot play at this level. If you want to become $1 million person, you have to start to develop into that $1 million person. You won't get to $1 million person being 1,000 kwacha person. It just doesn't happen like that. So for you to become that person, you have to develop yourself, and you have to keep working on yourself. So that is it I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please share with your family and friends. Until next week, I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.